Hi everyone, James here. Welcome back to the ICS Webinar Series. This is the second webinar we have released, so if you haven't seen the first one yet, the link for that will be in the description of this video. Please download the checklist for this webinar and keep it handy so you can tick any of the topics you would like more information on. Send the form back to the ICS support team and we'll send you all the help you need. For the checklist, as well as the slides and manuals this webinar references, there will be a link in the description below, or you can also find this all on the ICS website under support. Alright, let me show you some more new great features in Amwin version 10. We are going to start off by looking at the new job diary, but you can also jump around to any section of the video you like. There will be timestamps for each chapter in the description of this video. Okay, there is a new job diary screen under the customer menu, which gives an alternate view for managing jobs for the day. This is generally most useful in circumstances where jobs are in and out on the same day, or at least within a few days. Before using the screen, you will need to set up color coding for each job status, so the system can identify different statuses with different colors. Once the colors are defined, the jobs will appear in the same order that the status options have been set up. By default, the diary will show jobs for today. However, you can change the date required to select jobs for any day. The job information displayed includes the job number, rego number, customer name, make and model, job description, due dates, job status, waiting for, operator status, estimated job hours, and the due time. You can then click on the Sort By field to sort the jobs based on the available options. To open a job for editing, just double-click the job. You can also right-click on a job and select from a number of options, including being able to insert a new job based on either the customer or rego/serial number. You can also change the status or waiting for options for the job. In the bottom right corner, you can see the number of jobs for the day, the available hours you have for that day, as well as the total estimated hours booked out by jobs and the balance of hours available. The Work in Progress report has also been added to the job diary screen. This option is used to report on all the jobs in progress. Next, we'll check out the new look for the batch invoice printing screen in version 10. Rather than a standard report window, you can now select from a bunch of filters, allowing you to print the invoices you want based on the settings you choose. For example, you might want to print all invoices from customer A to customer B in a certain date range. Hit the filter/refresh button and you can then tag or untag the invoices you want to print. You can also use the Send To button we talked about in our first webinar to email these invoices, create a PDF, whatever you like. I'll now show you some of the new options in the Supplier's master file. Don't allow back orders. In the Amwin system, if you order 30 items but only receive 20, 10 will be left on the order as a back order. If you don't want back orders for a particular supplier, you just tick this box. Direct ship for purchase orders from the bucket. If you nominate a supplier to be drop shipped by default, when an order is created for that supplier from the bucket, the system will create a separate order for each customer that items in the bucket are allocated to for each supplier. The system will also automatically add the customer's details to the purchase order, so the purchase order which is supplied to the supplier will include the customer's dropship address. The bucket is one of our favorite tools in Amwin. It is used as a place to throw any stock that needs ordering. It might be that you don't want to order that stock item just yet, but you want to be reminded of them next time you place an order for that supplier. You might be thinking you need 10 of those, so you add 10 to the bucket, and next time you start an order for that supplier, it will pop up with a message asking do you want to bring in the parts from the bucket. You can hit yes and add them to your order, or no and leave them in the bucket for next time. The bucket is also great for times when you're doing a part sale through point of sale. For example, the customer comes in and orders 18 of a stock item. You know you have 20 in stock, so now there will only be 2 left and more will need to be ordered. So, you just right-click the part and say add to the bucket, and then Amwin will put in the default minimum order amount into the bucket. Then the next time I start an order for the supplier that supplies that part, or one of the other guys might start an order even, they get a notice saying, parts in the bucket. Oh yes, we need to order more of those, please add them to my order. So yeah, the bucket is a really great and underused feature in Amwin. Free freight value. Many suppliers will provide free freight based on the value of your purchase order with them. For example, spend $1,000 and get free freight. You can now enter a free freight value here, which in this example would be $1,000. This information is then available when processing a purchase order for this supplier, and also in the bucket screen when this supplier has been selected. Minimum order value. Some orders have a minimum order value, and you cannot process an order with that supplier until the minimum value is reached. Alternatively, they may charge you an extra fee or a different rate if you order less than the minimum value. You can now enter the minimum value right here, and if your purchase order doesn't meet this amount, Amwin will pop up with a message saying this is under the minimum order value. The bank account details have been moved to the Accounts tab. As we spoke about in the first webinar for the Customer Master File, in the Supplier's Master File the bank details have also been moved to the Accounts tab. It was moved for security reasons, as you can lock down the bank details using security levels. If you need more information on security levels in Amwin, just put it on your checklist and then at the end of the video send it back to the ICS team and we'll get you the help you need. Supplier default code. Many suppliers only supply one particular product or service, such as Telstra, Optus, electricity providers, etc. In that case, you can set a default expense ledger for a particular supplier, so that each time you do a transaction for that supplier, the default ledger will automatically be selected, saving you having to select it each time. Goods in. Goods in is another really great feature if you aren't already using it. It's the little green truck on the menu, and it allows you to process multiple purchase orders under the one order. The idea of it is, like we talked about earlier with back orders, sometimes you order 10 of something, but you only get delivered 8. So you've got 2 left on back order, which you still want, right? They just ran out of stock or whatever, but you still want them. Say you then order 20 of another item, and you get delivered 19 with 1 on back order. So this goes on and on until you've got 10 different orders, with 1 on back order here, 2 there, 3 here. Now of course the supplier will supply all of these back orders in one order, won't they? Which usually you'd have to go into each order one by one, receive them, then finalize them using the same invoice number. The fast way to process back orders is using goods in. You go to the Goods In screen, start a new Goods In order, pick the supplier, then hit the Import Orders button, which will show you any orders you have open for the selected supplier. You can then tag the orders you now want to receive and process it all as one order in one quick process. You can still change the prices, etc. like you would normally processing a normal purchase order. This just allows you to do multiple at once. So if you get a lot of back orders and you're not using Goods In, you really should be. It's a really great and powerful tool that can do a bunch of other stuff as well, so if you want to learn more about it, just mark it on your checklist. Auto Goods In Repeat. In version 10, they added this tick box, Auto Goods In Repeat. From the Goods In screen, you may wish to process multiple goods in deliveries and invoices for the same supplier consecutively. If this is the case, you can tick this option from the Supplier Master File under the Accounts tab. If this option is ticked, then after finalizing a goods in order for this particular supplier, the system will automatically reload the same supplier to process an additional goods in order. If the option is not ticked, then the supplier will be cleared, allowing you to process goods in orders for other suppliers. Alternate stock cost price used in purchase orders. If an alternate stock item is selected when adding a part to a purchase order, the cost price attached to the alternate item will now be used for the order instead of the cost attached to the main stock item. However, the main stock cost will still be used if the alternate cost is 0. Default freight account. Most suppliers charge freight on their invoices. When entering a purchase order, the default freight ledger 7050 will automatically appear when you select the freight button so that you don't have to select it each time you record a freight transaction. Import orders to purchase orders. Not many people know this, but there is a button that allows you to import a CSV file, an Excel spreadsheet, straight into a purchase order. The format of the CSV file must be as follows: part number, quantity, and price. Price is optional, but the first 2 fields are required. The system will match the first field as either a part number or a barcode. We are working on a PDF import that does the same thing, but will read the data from PDFs, so look out for that in a future version. Alright, that will do for today's webinar. If you've enjoyed the second in our webinar series, please leave a like so we know to continue making more content like this, and consider subscribing so you don't miss any future videos. There's much more to come in our webinar series, including more new features in version 10, as well as many more of Amwin's underused modules and what's coming in the future. If you have any questions from today's webinar, don't forget to fill out your checklist and send it back to the ICS team, and we'll get you everything you need. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.